The officers humiliated him in front of his peers, confident they'd face no consequences. But they didn't know he was the son of their new police chief, who was ready to see justice served at any cost. At Jefferson High School, 16-year-old Jamal Williams, a tall, slim teenager with keen brown eyes and a serious demeanor, strives to stand out not by his looks, but by his intellect and determination. His dream is to become a lawyer and fight for those who face injustice, much like he does. Jamal is one of the top students in his class, disciplined, intelligent, and always focused on his studies. He avoids conflicts and supports classmates in need. Yet, despite his achievements and good behavior, he frequently encounters prejudice. One day, during a break, voices rise in the school's corridors as a group of teenagers argues. In a panic, someone calls the police. Two white officers, Stevens and Roberts, arrive, their stern faces in stark contrast with their strict blue uniforms. They walk through the school's corridors, ignoring the tense, curious stares of students, and stop right in front of Jamal as he gathers books for his next class at his locker. "You! Step away from the locker!" snaps Officer Stevens, pointing at Jamal. Confused and not understanding why he's being told to stop, Jamal looks up hesitantly, only to be met with the officer's cold, mocking stares. "I haven't done anything," he says calmly, trying to keep his composure. "I'm just heading to class." Officer Roberts looks skeptically at Jamal, then exchanges a quick glance with his partner. As if unwilling to hear an explanation, they continue with their aggressive questioning, demanding answers. "You're one of the troublemakers, aren't you?" Stevens asks, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You have no idea what this could lead to." Without giving Jamal a chance to respond, the officers move in closer, their shadows looming over him. Jamal feels a chill as the humiliation mounts under the watchful eyes of his classmates. Some whisper, others record the scene on their phones, amplifying the pressure. He wants to speak up, but the words catch in his throat. The officers push him against the locker, treating him as though he were a dangerous criminal. With every word and gesture from the officers, Jamal feels resentment building within. It pains him to be judged solely by the color of his skin, disregarding all his efforts and accomplishments. When Jamal returns home, he quietly closes the door, trying not to show how shaken he is. His father, Marcus Williams, a tall man with deep black eyes and a strong stance, sits at the kitchen table, studying some documents. Marcus recently took over as police chief and has a reputation for handling difficult situations with a calm, controlled demeanor. But seeing his son's troubled face, he immediately senses something serious has happened. "Son, what's going on?" Marcus asks, setting aside his papers and focusing entirely on Jamal. Jamal sighs and, lowering his shoulders, sits across from his father. Slowly, he begins to recount how Officer Stevens and Roberts humiliated him. Each word is difficult for him. The memory chokes him. Marcus listens intently, and although his face remains stoic, a fire of suppressed anger flickers in his eyes. Every word from his son strikes Marcus deeply, making him realize that there are people on his team who misuse their authority. His fists clench, but he doesn't want Jamal to see his anger. He maintains his composure, taking a deep breath to keep his emotions in check. "Dad," Jamal finishes, looking up at his father with eyes full of hurt. "They didn't let me say a word. They just accused me like I was a criminal." Marcus reaches out and places a reassuring hand on Jamal's shoulder, feeling how much his son is holding back. He sees the pain and humiliation Jamal endured, and it saddens and angers him. Thoughts flash through Marcus's mind about the type of people who would act this way, people he is now responsible for leading and directing. It pains him to realize there are officers under his command willing to mistreat an innocent teen simply because of his skin color. "Jamal," Marcus begins with a firm, confident voice, "I'm proud of you. Proud of the way you handled the situation. It takes strength, son." He squeezes Jamal's shoulder slightly, letting him know he's there and will always support him. "I won't let this continue," Marcus says, his voice growing deeper, his gaze harder. "Justice will be served. They won't get away with this. You deserve respect, just like everyone, regardless of how they look or what color their skin is." Feeling his father's warmth and support, Jamal feels his resentment and fear slowly melt away. His father, a man who has always fought for justice, has promised to protect him, and that reassurance fills him with confidence. Marcus embraces his son and assures him, "I'm here for you, Jamal, and if they think they can get away with this without consequence, they're very wrong." The next day, with cold determination, Marcus steps into the conference room where his team has gathered for the morning meeting. His solid build and stern expression immediately set a serious tone. He scans the room, lingering a moment longer on Officer Stevens and Roberts, who exchange glances with slight indifference, unaware of the true reason behind his scrutiny. Marcus begins with a firm, straightforward message. "Gentlemen," his voice steady and unyielding, "I want to remind you all of our core duties. We're here to protect and respect people, not demean them. Our role is to be an example for society, especially for the youth, who look to us to shape their understanding of the law. I expect each of you to grasp the importance of integrity and justice in performing your duties." Stevens, assuming he's not the subject of Marcus's comments, leans toward Roberts with a smirk and whispers, "Here he goes with his ideals. Let him talk. In practice, things don't change." Roberts, hiding a condescending smirk, nods in agreement. Neither takes the chief's words seriously, unaware that his remarks are directly tied to their conduct at the school the previous day. Noticing their barely hidden disdain, Marcus decides to press on. "I want to make it clear that any case of abuse of power or unjust treatment will be thoroughly investigated. We are to serve as examples, for the citizens we protect and for each other. If anyone believes they can disregard this duty, they are gravely mistaken. Consequences will be severe for anyone who behaves otherwise." Unable to hold back, Stevens mutters with a smirk, "We're not in kindergarten. Sometimes you have to show people force to earn respect." Roberts nods in agreement and adds quietly, "Yeah, too much time wasted on empty talk when we could be doing things the old way." Marcus, hearing their remarks, presses his lips together, struggling to contain his indignation. He knows his son became a victim of their cruelty yesterday, and he won't allow such behavior to go unpunished. Yet he remains composed, determined to handle the situation strategically. He devises a plan to expose their true nature to the entire team, ensuring that no one in his department dares to mistreat the public again. Feigning ignorance of their comments, Marcus continues the meeting in a stern tone, his plan forming clearly in his mind. In the following meeting, Marcus gathers the entire team in the conference hall. His expression remains neutral, but his eyes reflect steely resolve. He stands before them, surveying the group, and begins in a firm yet solemn tone. "Today, I need to address an issue that has no place in our ranks. Recently, I received a complaint about the mistreatment of a teen at a local school. I want everyone here to know that such behavior not only goes against our principles, but it also damages the public's trust in the police." Silence falls over the room as tension mounts among the officers. Stevens and Roberts, their faces slightly pale, glance at each other, uncertain if the chief's words pertain to them. Trying to stay calm, they reveal hints of worry. Marcus, observing this, continues, directing his gaze at them. "I'd like to hear from those involved in this incident. What possible justification could there be for humiliating a teen who did nothing wrong?" Feeling the pressure build, Stevens straightens and, trying to maintain confidence, begins to explain. "Chief, there might have been a misunderstanding. We were just doing our duty, keeping the school safe. The young man seemed suspicious, and we only wanted to clarify the situation." Roberts chimes in. "Yes, sir, there was no intention to demean him. We followed standard procedure. Sometimes it's necessary to be firm to maintain order." Marcus listens to their excuses, pauses for a moment, then replies with icy calm. "Let me clarify. The teen in question is my son." The room goes silent. Marcus's gaze stays fixed on Stevens and Roberts, who pale as they realize they've encountered an uncomfortable truth. Both officers are speechless, understanding that their boss knows everything. Roberts' face turns nearly white, struggling to find words, but none come. Stevens, visibly shaken, realizes that all their excuses were in vain. Marcus continues. I witnessed the pain and humiliation you caused him with your approach. What you did was an abuse of power, and I can't ignore it. We are here not to degrade innocent people, but to protect them. Incidents like these are why public trust in the police erodes, and I won't allow this in my department. After his words, tense silence fills the room. Marcus concludes. Officers Stevens and Roberts are temporarily suspended pending investigation. Let this serve as a lesson to us all. Anyone unwilling to respect others, seeing only biased stereotypes, has no place here. The team understands the gravity of his message. Everyone realizes such actions won't go unpunished. After the meeting, Marcus leaves the room, feeling both the weight and relief of defending his son's rights and setting an example of true justice. That evening, as he returns home, Jamal meets his father with a look of gratitude. He knows that his dad is not just a police chief, but a true protector, ready to stand against any injustice for him and for all who face prejudice.